I was muted. Hello and welcome, everyone. We are excited for you to join us on this edition of Ask Me Anything Cyber. Today is a special event hosted by 911 Cyber, where our team of cybersecurity experts will address the recent surge in social media account hacks. In this session, we will explore the tactics cybercriminals are using to gain unauthorized access to personal accounts and impact this can have on individuals and businesses alike. With social media influencers on the rise, which is true these days, and seeing on how social media plays an important role and crucial role in our daily lives. Ask Me Anything Cyber's only motive is that you ask us any questions that you might have, how can we be safe digitally, etc. So make sure that you ask your questions. You can chat with us. We have our live experts here today. You can chat with us or you can ask us questions on Slido. All right, before we explore all about social media and introduce you to our guests, let's watch a short video on Cyber Material's most important initiative.
Just like the President of the U.S. receives a daily briefing, executives need to be aware of the cyber threats impacting their organizations. Introducing Cyber Briefing, your essential weekday newsletter. Stay ahead of the curve with our timely updates on the latest cybersecurity alerts, incidents, and news. Subscribe now on LinkedIn, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or have it delivered straight to your inbox. Don't let your organization be caught off guard. Stay informed. Stay secure with Cyber Briefing.
Okay, so that was the cyber briefing by Cyber Material. We aim to provide you with the latest cybersecurity alerts, news, and incidents. So make sure that you follow us on LinkedIn and you're subscribed to the newsletter because this way you will be able to safeguard not only yourself, but if you're working in an organization, you will be able to safeguard your organization digitally. So now let's talk about social media security. With us here today, we have Victor Aldana, who is a customer success account manager at Microsoft. And of course, our favorite guest, hi, Sophia, the CTO of Cybermaterial. So, hi, both of you. Hi, Victor. Hi, Sophia. Welcome.
Hi, Prapti. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Happy
Yeah,
Cyber
glad to be
Awareness
here.
Month. Happy Cyber Awareness Month. How is the Cyber Awareness Month going? I mean, this event is in lieu of that. So that's great.
Yeah,
Okay,
we are doing good. Thank you. And we always know that cybersecurity doesn't have to be reduced to 1 month, it has to be 12 months.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Definitely. With social media, with everybody having access to it, it definitely needs to be a 12-month entire year thing. So, hi, Victor. Tell us a bit about yourself and the interest behind today's topic social media security.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Prati. So glad to be here with you folks. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a customer success account manager at Microsoft. I've been here.
Uh, did something happen?
Oh, I think we lost him, but it's
Oh,
not a
no.
problem. No worries. That's okay. Um,
Oh,
so we're here with
No, no,
Victor.
did I
he's
lose you
back.
guys?
Oh, yes, we lost you for a minute,
Welcome back.
but you're back.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I was just telling you a little bit about me. I've been working at Microsoft now for a few years. I work with local customers who are trying to enhance their security posture, their modern work posture, and their ability to do work in today's world. Apart from that, I also lead our efforts on cybersecurity for my group. I work with all of the Western US states. And, cybersecurity, like Sophia said earlier, is 12 months. It's every day of the year. It's something that everybody has to practice. So apart from that, I also host a number of cybersecurity workshops locally here in Las Vegas, where I am located, where we try to teach the community, here's how you could be safer, here's how you could be smarter, here's how you could do all the things that you need to do. And here's tips and tricks that are free or very low cost, right? This doesn't have to cost a lot of money to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
So that's a message that I preach to everyone. And that, again, thankful for the chance to do it here again today.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Victor.
actually, knowing that there are things that we can do that is going to be cost free, that we can protect ourselves from, I think that is one of the most important things in this day and age. Considering the rise of influencers, what is the first step, according to you, for individuals that can be protected online? How can they protect themselves?
I think, everyone today uses social media, right? So whether it's an influencer like a famous celebrity, or someone like me, or someone like
Yeah,
my mom, who uses Facebook quite often. Um, there's a lot of volume out there of users. And I think the tips, though, are generally applicable to anyone. And what I would share with anyone is, number one, make sure you're using strong passwords. So don't use Sophia, I'm just picking on you because your name is here, as your password, right? If that's your name. Don't use simple things like your address, and don't use those things that are easily going to be guessed. Similarly, don't use the same passwords everywhere else. If your Instagram and Domino's Pizza and Apple accounts are the same password, and a hacker gets into one of them, they've now penetrated everything, right? So make sure that you're not using the same simple passwords everywhere. You need to make sure that they're diversified and that they're strong. And again, that's going to protect you from so much of what the bad guys are doing. I tell people that a lot of times the bad guys out there who are trying to hack into your information, they're just like at
yeah,
a parking lot, and they're just checking the car doors, and they're just checking every door. The simplest way to prevent a bad guy getting in your car is just locking your door.
locking it
And
in.
yeah, and so that's what I tell people: make sure that your Instagram, your Facebook, your X accounts, whatever, are secure. And the easiest way, again, to do that is strong passwords and not sharing the same passwords.
Would you recommend using like password managers for this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think password managers make the process a lot simpler. A lot of the password managers, like the Google product, the Microsoft product, are also free and also provide password generators, right? So it might be hard for you to remember that your password for X is ampersand.
P exclamation mark. Yeah.
Yep,
That'll be difficult for you to remember. Totally get it. The password manager will help do that for you. And it'll tell you, hey, here's your password for this. Here's your password for that. Oh, do you need a new password? Let us generate one that has a lot of complexity, making it harder for a bad guy to attack.
definitely. All right. So I am new to this entire cybersecurity technical bonanza, but I did often come across the term social engineering while I've been here for only 6 months. Does it have any relevance to social media security?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna take over this one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, social engineering is definitely connected with social media security, and it's basically about manipulating people into giving up sensitive information. So social media platforms are like the perfect place where scammers or bad actors get their platform to get them like fish people or get their information, even if they need to build up a profile about a persona, so they will be able to gather data about yourself that you're not even aware they're giving away. So social media platforms are definitely connected with social engineering, and that's where most of the attacks as an attack vector happens. um yeah, basically, yes,
Okay.
that.
So like I'm talking about social engineering attacks because I would like to refer to the Hall of Hacks report. And this one is from July 2024. I got a snippet right here on the screen. I hope you can see it. So from this snippet, what I understand is that Sydney Sweeney was targeted in a SIM swap attack, right? We see breaches from many applications, from Tulio to Truecaller, which has affected a lot of people here in India, actually. However, what I think the SIM swap attack, this is the most intriguing one. So my question to you is that what actually is a SIM swap attack, and how is that used for fraudulent activity such as cryptocurrency?
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic. So just to simplify a SIM swap attack is when some bad guy out here is able to, through nefarious means, get your cell phone information and impersonate your cell phone. There are a lot of ways to do this, and they're not very expensive and they're not very complicated. So what happens is I can duplicate Sydney Sweeney's cell phone, and then I log into X or Instagram or whatever, and I say, hey, I forgot my password. and they're going to send a text message to your phone, right, that says, hey, use this to log into X or Instagram or whatever. And that person now has access to Sydney Sweeney's account because, again, they've copied essentially her cell phone, and they are receiving the calls and messages and everything that she would be getting. That allows the bad guy access into whatever platform we're talking about.
Got
In
it.
the case of Sydney Sweeney, she's a famous person. She has 1 million
Yeah.
followers, right? Or millions of followers. So you're able to log into her account and say, hey, everybody, buy this cryptocurrency. I'm buying it. Or, hey, everybody, listen to this, whatever, listen to or click on this website. They are able to capture such a broad audience by just capturing one person's information. So these SIM swap attacks are difficult to stop. They're difficult to kind of prevent, rather. And again, if you target the right person like Sydney Sweeney, they could have massive, massive impact.
Okay, so like, but how can like a person, let's say a person like me, how can like I protect myself from any social engineering tactics? Just I'll have to beware of it, right? Other than that, I don't think there's any tools. I just have to be very cautious about it. From phishing, spear phishing, baiting, all of these things, I just have to be very cautious about it while going on about my daily life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Being cautious, like you said, is the number one thing. Awareness is the number one thing. Secondly, there are a lot of signatures that we could talk about when we talk about, like you have
Yeah.
on the screen, phishing or baiting or pretexting. These are all things that just the fact that you're aware is already a really good place. And I would encourage anyone to, excuse me, to find a place to educate themselves further, to learn more about this and make themselves a more difficult target.
Yeah, and what I can add here is also you need to be aware of the type of scams out there. So you always need to be updated of what is happening and new techniques that are being developed every day. For example, from romance scams to tech support
Yeah.
scams, from auto insurance scams that we were talking before. All these type of scams, you need to be aware. They are social engineering techniques that are used to lure you, to are used to manipulate you. They try to get in your mind and try to get information from you without you even noticing. So even though you may be aware of social engineering exists, you also need to be up to date on what type of scams are there. So you know that if you receive a text message saying, oh, your USPS parcel is being upheld at customs, you need to fill up this form so it can be like unlocked. You know that these type of scams are there. It may sound something legit because you may be expecting something
Yeah.
from USPS. However, you also need to keep in mind that, okay, there's this scam happening right now. I need to be aware that it may not be true. So you need to always think that, is this legit? Is this is happening? Always, you can Google, like, I just received this text message. So there's somebody out there that already posted online saying, this is a type of scam or this is happening right now. So it's very important before you do something, make sure that it's something legit and be updated with the type of scams out there.
Yeah. Actually, recently I heard something about scams from my dad, that they send something like a very urgent parcel or something like that, like the one that you see on the screen. This is actually something I received, and it always has some urgent clause to it or some action needed to it, and will always make sure that you are in some sort of an urgency level, that you need to do this or this will happen. So I feel
That's the
like,
number one technique. They use urgency,
Absolutely.
they use desperation, they use like, you need to do it right now, otherwise it will be too
yeah,
late. So it's never too late unless it's the police actually calling you and identifying
yeah,
themselves as the police, and actually you make sure. But unless it's like there's nothing urgent, always think about it. I mean,
yep.
it's not like your insurance is going to be suspended in the next 72 hours. Otherwise, like your auto insurance is going to be suspended in the next 72 hours if you don't make a payment. Unless it's the
Exactly.
actual insurance that is having that issue and is is the name of your insurance. If it's something else and they don't identify themselves as your auto insurance, it's probably a scam.
Actually, one of the very important thing I believe is that always need to verify who is calling or who is sending the email. It has to come from a legitimate source. We can always, if someone is calling these days with the technological advances, we need to always verify that, hey, is this actually you who's calling me? And not just that, I feel like one of the tips that my dad gave me was that your bank will never suspend you without any prior notice. Like, they'll let you know. So all of these messages, the first thing is that they'll definitely let you know if something bad is happening. If you don't do an action and it gets like canceled out or something doesn't happen, they close your account, that can never happen through an email or a
So,
message.
so one question for Victor: what are the things that you do at your workshops with senior citizens? How do you help them to identify scams or social
Yeah.
engineering?
Yeah, and you already touched on a few of those things, right? So number one is always the urgency. You need to click on this, or we send this package back. You need to click on this, or we're canceling your bank, your car insurance, or whatever we're talking about. So urgency is the big one. The next thing I would bring up is that you could look at an email, and it's often going to have a certain number of signatures that will tell you it's probably coming not from your bank, not from the car insurance, not from UPS. So you look at the from email address, right? Oftentimes, if it's coming from, again, UPS, it'll say tracking at ups.com or whatever the website is.
Yeah.
That's when it comes from a legitimate source. And when it comes from an illegitimate source, it'll come from some other website. It'll come from another domain. It'll come from another country. And all of that gives you the red flag that there's something going on here. There's also oftentimes very simple spelling and grammatical mistakes that you catch in the emails where it'll say, or it'll be a poor translation. And so it'll say, instead of saying, click here to resolve this problem, it'll say, click here, resolution of problem. So it's not, it's never perfect. And so you start looking at these things and you start realizing, hey, I don't want to click on this email. And then finally, just verify the information. If I get an email from my bank saying, click on this link because we need to talk to you about something, I'm not going to click on that link. But if I am concerned that my bank might have legitimate cause to reach out to me, I'm going to log in through my
Yeah.
bank portal, and I'm going to log in the way that I normally would, and say, hey, is everything okay? If I don't have any messages, if everything looks to be in order, I'm going to feel 100% confident that email is 100% illegitimate. It's a phishing attempt, and I'm not going to do anything further with it. I'll report it so that I don't get another email from that particular inbox. And that's the end of that.
Yeah, sometimes you get the case that they call you on the phone and they said, can you verify your date of birth or can you verify your home address? And I'm like, you are the one that called me. Why should I verify myself? So in that case, you always ask for a callback number and then you go and verify if this callback number is the actual number of your bank or any other service that you are receiving. So never give away personal information when they ask you to verify it, and if they are the ones calling you, because you don't have to verify yourself because they are already calling you. So it's not the opposite way. Like when you call them, you may have to verify
Yeah.
yourself, but if they call you and they ask for personal information, you always need to be careful that if you're not giving it away as a social engineering technique because they're
Yeah.
trying to get your personal data, or is actually legit. So always ask for a callback number and verify this this number online if it's the legit source.
Well said.
I feel like senior citizens are like the main targets. Every time like something comes up, index is always high. They always fall for these things. So what would you think is the first step to like let it let them know that this is a quick thing? Like the first thing, how would you start propagating the news to them? Like, would you use sources like social media? The issue is, I feel like senior citizens do not use social media as much, except for Facebook, obviously. I feel like they do use Facebook and they keep falling for this. So, what about Facebook? Is there like a way to protect? Let's say my mom uses Facebook every day and she sees something to buy. What would you say that she has to do in order to protect herself? Um, Obviously, I know the basic things. I do ask her to use like good, strong passwords, MFAs, and everything. Other than that,
I think the number one tip that I share with people all the time, and Sophia, you and I touched on this earlier, is there are times where you see an ad or something that you want to buy, and the deal is obviously too good to be true, right? If they say, hey, here is, I'll give you a real example. I saw a dirt bike the other day, a motorcycle, and this motorcycle costs like $20,000 if you buy it through a legitimate business. And this website said we can ship it to your house and it's $1,800 or $1,900. Obviously, no one is going to sell a brand new motorcycle, 90% off and ship it to my house, right? So I think the first thing is, does this purchase, does this transaction just seem ridiculous, to use the right word? And again, for this example, this bike was 90% off, 90 something percent off. Yeah, that's not going to pass the test. So I think that's the first thing, is realizing that they try to get you by giving out these deals that are not real deals. They're just collecting your information and your credit card number and your email, and then they're going to use that for their nefarious purposes. So I think that's step one. And I think step two is, whenever you are looking at something like that,
Yeah.
or what I tell my parents and everyone at the senior workshops is, if you have something and you're just not quite sure if it is too good to be true, or maybe it's a little bit suspect, share it with someone. Don't send them the link or something, but you can take a screenshot on your phone, send it to me, you send it to your neighbor, you send it to someone else who's maybe a little bit more savvy, and say, hey, does this sound legitimate? And then, you get another set of eyes on it, someone with a little bit more experience, and they'll be able to tell you, in more detail what they see as a red flag for it.
Yeah.
In my case, again, it was easy, 95% off for a motorcycle, and it was coming from an address in Turkey. You're not going to ship a motorcycle from Turkey to Las Vegas. So, it's just being aware of that, I think, is like the easiest test. The sniff test is what we call it here locally. Does it smell like something's funny? Probably something is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
and over here we have a comment from a viewer. He says, we also have telecom companies providing spam protection out of the box. Now we should be always looking for that information as well. Like telecom companies providing spam protection out of the box. As in?
Yeah, they do have spam protection. For example, T-Mobile, they
Uh,
have the option to block unknown callers right off the bat, and also international calls. They are mostly blocked as well. There's also
uh,
some spam banks where they have like certain numbers that they've been blackmail blacklisted, and but there's always new numbers popping up, so it's hard for those companies to catch up and to always be banning phone numbers, because sometimes they be banning legit
yeah.
numbers. So I mean, they do work, because I stopped getting a lot of spam calls like this year, I guess, in 2024. It really stopped the spamming, but we still have a lot of work to do. And as cybersecurity practitioners, we are the ones in charge of this. So, uh, as you always said, Victor, and we talked about this before, education is the number one tool that we can have right now to do our work against social engineering, because these are like manipulations of the mind, and there's no one tool like can solve it all. So,
Yeah, definitely. Also, like, I'd like to add, I believe that since I'm from India, I was using like Truecaller, I think in 2018 or something like that. And Truecaller was in the midst of some controversy, same as data leaks. So be careful. If you're going to put your faith in like some spam protection app or anything like that, be careful. Check what information you have on them, check if they have had any data leaks, see how much you can trust them, because Truecaller, I think, was again mentioned in the Holofax report of July 2024. Which, by the way, you can get. You just have to click on the link. You might see it in the bottom of the screen. So, just mentioning that, always keep yourself updated with these things, because Truecaller did come in the controversy a lot of times about data leaks, and this time millions of users, their data was leaked just for no reason. So make sure that you're very careful with that. There's another question here. What is the plan for a cyber attack? What is the plan if your company is targeted by a cyber attack? How comprehensive is the plan, and how quickly can it be implemented? That was not one question. That was actually
that was
three
three
questions.
questions, and not much related to social media. Uh, but
But companies do
yeah,
use like social media. How can we protect companies that use social media from cyber attacks? What would you say?
I don't know, Victoria, want to take over?
Yeah, this is a good question because it's companies are targets the same way that all of us are targets. The only difference,
Yeah.
to simplify, the only difference between Victor getting hacked and Apple, I just say that because I have my phone here, and Apple getting hacked is that Apple is fighting off 1 million attacks a day. And, the bad guys only have to get it right one time to get in and to get into Apple's stuff. So Apple, any big company in the world, is going to have a bigger headache when it comes to this, right? It's a bigger attack surface, as we would say, that they have to defend and they have to protect against. So all of that to say is that these companies should have plans in place for what they do when they get attacked. If you get attacked today and then you realize, oh, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, you're going to be in a tough spot. You're going to have to pay a ton of money to have an expert come in and help you restore, well, not even restore, just kind of figure out what the problem was and go from there. So every company should have what they call either a disaster recovery plan or a major incident response plan, where basically you say, when this happens, here is the playbook. We're going to involve these people. We're going to use these tools. We have these backups. We have all of these different assets that we could utilize to be able to defend ourselves. So I think, to me, what's the saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So it's better to be prepared, better to be safe than sorry, and to have these plans in place and these assets in place so that when you are targeted, you could do all that. So to the question of how comprehensive is the plan and how quickly can it be implemented, that's up to each individual organization. I've seen recovery plans that are incredibly good, like where I've seen certain recovery plans that have recovery times that are in the minutes because they know they are able to segment things, they are able to do things really well, and they've practiced it, right? It's just like anything else. If you're not practicing it, you're not getting strong at it. I've also seen recovery plans where they've said, well, we're not really sure what we would do, but we're going to contact an outside vendor, an outside third party to come in and do that. So that depends on the company, that depends on the group, that depends on their leadership and what their appetite is for that. But generally speaking, I would say, again, prevention, do the smart things, have the training, have the assets in place that will help you in one of these situations, and make sure that your team knows what to do. Because if the chief cybersecurity or security officer knows how to keep the organization safe, but nobody below knows what to do, that's a single point of failure, right? You don't want that critical path to be just one human. You want to make sure that that's socialized across your group, and you're able to do that when you detect it.
Got it. So, do you think that companies should always have a common program? Like they should always teach their technicians or people working in their company that this is a phishing mail, don't click on it, beware. I think they should always do that. I think most companies don't invest in that training. Most companies would actually just overlook that. Also, hi Bervin, hi Sisha, thank you so much for joining. You can leave your questions if you have any on social media security in the chat. We have experts over here who will discuss it with you. I have one more question, but I'd like to get to this about AI. Since you're talking about advancements and how advanced these days AI can be, can it be how can AI tools be leveraged to combat the spread of misinformation on social media while preserving freedom of speech, of user privacy?
Yeah, that's a terrific question. That's a terrific question. I think AI, like every other tool, has so many incredible things that it can help us with. But if the bad guys are using it for bad stuff, that's a thing as well, right? We have to be aware of these things and we can't be blind to them. I think the number one thing for any misinformation, whether it's using AI or not, is validate the information. I say this to anyone and everyone. I have a lot of friends who post a lot of things on social media about the news or events that are happening. And they say, oh, I've seen this. And they share a video that's been generated by AI somewhere. And you think, I'm not really sure that's true. If you are giving, let's just make up an example. If I have an article that says that Victor Aldana, that's me, is the governor of the state of Nevada where I live, you could look that up in 2 seconds and realize that's not true. You can just look up who is the governor of Nevada. It'll tell you it's Joseph Lombardo. and you realize that this is misinformation, right? So validate the information, look it up, find reputable news sources, and don't believe everything that you see. The probably one of the scariest things about AI is how effectively it can be used to
Yeah.
create articles, to create videos, to create any social media posts that spread misinformation or spread opinion, and it's labeled as fact when that's not the truth. And it's scary, right? But again, validate what you see out there, look it up, make sure it's real. Don't be a person who just hits share, because you're just perpetuating the problem at that point. And at the same time, right, you're correct to say that there is a freedom of speech component, because we want people
Yeah.
to be able to share their thoughts and opinions, and that's fine. Everyone is entitled to that. I think it's great for Sophia to say, hey, I think we should do ABC. And I say, well, I don't know if I agree, Sophia. I think we should
Yeah.
do DEF, right? Or any other combination of letters. Let's talk about a different opinion. I think that's fine. I would encourage you, again, make sure that you're getting accurate information and you're validating that.
Yeah.
And then you can use AI tools. Like, you can go into certain AI news aggregator websites and say, is Victor Aldana the governor of Nevada? And it'll tell you, again, in 2 seconds, no, he's not the governor of Nevada. Here's the 5 sources that we've used to validate this fact. And you go from there. That way you're not impinging on anyone's perspective, but you are validating
Yeah.
what you see and believe and read on the world.
So the key is to, like, we definitely should be forming our own opinions and also definitely cross-checking it. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, Sophie?
Yeah, actually, I would like to add what Victor said, that if you are not sure about information, don't reshare it, because you are perpetuating something that you're not made
Exactly.
aware of. So it's starting to snowball into something that it was never true. So if you add your click, because it's easier to share something than to double check it. So don't reshare it, and make sure that you are not contributing to a pool of misinformation, especially that we are in this cycle of elections here in the US, that everything is snowballing into lies and like misinformation, and everybody can contribute not to perpetuate these lies by not sharing it, or by not like quoting it or
Exactly.
reposting or whatever they name it on every social media, because every social media has their own different way of resharing stuff. So you always need to be conscious that whatever you're going to be contributing, it has to be I'm not gonna say it has to be like like you have to evaluate it, you have to analyze it, and you have to be
Exactly.
confident in what you're sharing is true. And it happens a lot with like senior citizens, or like people that are not very into social media, that they just, oh, this is
Definitely.
fun, let's just share it. And they are not being cautious that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of eyeballs out there that are seeing what you're doing. So because you are the family doctor, or you're the prestigious attorney in your family, and you're just retweeting something, everybody that is in your contacts, they said, oh, you know what, this person just retweeted, it must be true. But because you have
Exactly.
certain place in society, people may take it as true, as face value, because you are like someone important in the society, but it may not be true. So you always need to be conscious on which role you're playing in society, and which role like you want to actually play. So not resharing it, it's a good way of not perpetuating lies or misinformation.
It's like spreading rumors. Like, we found another way to do it. People used to spread myths back in the day, and now we are spreading rumors digitally. That's
Yeah,
all we are doing, because
yeah,
we
exactly.
don't verify. You're right. Like, even for someone like me, I would probably not verify, because I would probably hit the repost. Just do
Yeah.
it, because
And
a
you're like,
credible
oh,
person told
and
me.
because it fits my narrative, so I would just go
Exactly.
ahead and just retweet it or reshare
Exactly.
it. I didn't want to say retweet it, but because most of the misinformation happening right now, it's on X or Twitter platform. Unfortunately, they are not check and balances right now, so anything goes.
Exactly. I think the next question I have is also something that a viewer has over here. What are the potential risks of deepfakes, and how can platforms mitigate them? And the viewer here is asking, how do we know if there are any images online? I think this means that any images of ourselves online. I think that's what he means. So, would you like to answer that? How would you like to answer that?
Yeah, I
I
can
mean,
start with the. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
one second. I am sorry. Something I do, and you can tell me if this is a legitimate way of verifying if we have like images of ourselves online, is that I do a reverse image search, or maybe applications like Tenai or something like that. They are very useful. I mean, personally, that's what I do, a reverse image search, just to figure out. So let me know if what I'm doing is correct or not.
Yeah, so reverse image search is a terrific way to get started, right? A reverse image search is going to tell you where this image was posted, where it came from. It's going to tell you a lot of information. It may not tell you if an image is AI versus real because it's not looking
Yeah.
for that. It's just looking, where does this photo appear on the internet? And that's basically the question that it's answering. To the question of deepfakes, the problem with deepfakes is
Yeah.
that they look quite good. I could, like Sophia said, I think you were 100% on the money here. If you are a prestigious attorney that your family goes to for legal advice, and then someone posts a video of you as a prestigious attorney saying, "Hey guys, it's okay to cancel car insurance and it's not required in the state where, whatever state anymore," that may not be true. But because it comes from a prestigious attorney, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to put a lot of weight behind that person's opinion. And because the deep fake may look exactly like Sophia or the person that I'm listening to,
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, "Oh yeah, okay." It takes 2 extra seconds of thinking like, is that true? Let me validate that. Or maybe I message Sophia, "Hey Sophia, I saw you posted this video, is that true?" Now you take someone like Sophia and you amplify it times a million, and maybe you have a video, a deep fake video of Joe Biden or the leader of any other country, and they say,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're at war with another country." That's a thing that could cause a lot of uh, drama, panic, fear, right?
Exactly.
If you turn on the news, or if you go on a website and they say, "Hey, here's a video of Joe Biden saying we're starting a war with Russia," that's a really, really scary thing. And the fact that that might be fake,
You're gonna get everybody buying toilet paper.
you're gonna get, yeah, toilet paper will run out. I don't know if it ran out for you guys in New York, but it ran out here when
Yes.
the port
And
shut
I'm like,
down.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, these things aren't even related, but yeah, I think the way that platforms can mitigate them is right now, a lot of the deepfakes that are coming out will have telltale signs that this is fake. Whether that's just a digital signature that we can't see, but the computers can see, it'll tell them, "Hey, this is fake." There are systems in place. I saw that Adobe is putting a system in place where if you do something that's highly, highly modified, whether it's in Lightroom or Premiere or one of the other tools that they have, it'll tell whatever the system that's being uploaded to, "Hey, by the way, this contains AI elements." Um, there's that as well. And then there's also the fact that, again, right, validate the information. If there's a video of Joe Biden saying we're going to war, I'm going to look that up really quick. And that'll tell me, well, is this real or is this not? If Sophia, the lawyer, is telling me you don't need to carry car insurance anymore, we're changing New York state laws right now, I'm probably going to look that up, right? So make sure that you're validating your data, get another perspective on it, and you'll very quickly be able to determine what is and isn't real. And don't share it. Like Sophia said, don't
Yeah.
add to the noise. Don't amplify false news.
Exactly. So, a quick thing about the fact that things just get amplified really quickly. Um, what was that thing? Okay, so recently I was searching for cyber stories, right? Because we actually have a segment of cyber stories on cyber material. So make sure that you do follow us there. So in this cyber story, it was about a German CEO who got scammed for about 220,000 pounds, and these group of cyber criminals, they were using deepfake AI technology to impersonate a voice of somebody, and it was a fake Hungarian supplier, and he supplied the money. See, I feel like with whatever you just said, the fact that this German CEO did not verify who this person was. He just believed it, and he wired the money to that fake Hungarian supplier, and then it nobody could find it. They were still yet due to find who did it. So we actually have many cyber stories like that for this cyber awareness month. So like you said, the number one tip would definitely be to make sure that we always verify the source of information. We also have like quick videos about cyber tips and phishing. But Sophia, before I get to that, can you tell us what kind of phishing attacks would be most common on social media? I mean, Victor did mention about the price tag. Obviously, it cannot be something unbelievable, right?
Mhm.
So, what else can there be that
Yeah,
people might fall for?
because I mean, this is an Ask Me Anything cyber, and it's very good. It's very important to get to answer questions. For you, when you mentioned what type of phishing attacks are most common in social media, and I want people to understand that there are many techniques, many scams around there. But when we talk about phishing, is they're trying to get information from you. So when they trying to get this information, is not only like credit card information. It can be date of birth. It can be where you live. It can be relatives, because you may be like a proxy. For example, if they are trying to get someone in your family, you may be a proxy. So they may try to get information from you so they can get these other family member or friend, or even your CEO at your own company. So it always happens that they target employees because they're trying to get somebody else. So when we talk about phishing attacks, and what are the most common ones that can be identified in social media? For example, unsolicited DM. They send, oh, follow my OnlyFans account, but it's not an OnlyFans, it's something else. It could be a crypto dump.
Exactly.
Like, or for example, if you see like big prices, I don't know, join this raffle so you can get, I don't know, like a 1 week in the Caribbean, whatever. So you know these are fake websites trying to gather information from you, harvest data, and maybe sell it or use it against you. So it's very important that these phishings are out there. You need to be like aware of them. Unsolicited DMs, unsolicited friend requests, uh, email addresses, or anything that you were not, or even if you were like talking to someone, it could be like a romance scam, which is very popular nowadays. People get involved. They fall in love with a fake persona. They don't exist.
Yeah.
The other day, I read a case. It was very funny because they started on Facebook and they moved to Signal, not WhatsApp. They moved to Signal. And when you see these type of like, they are like kind of evolving because before it was like from
Exactly.
Facebook to WhatsApp, but now it's to Signal, which is kind of like a security app. Everybody kind of like in the security world, but now they're moving to these platforms because it's end-to-end encrypted, and it's harder to get back to them. So it was like a romance scam. It was a guy here in the US. It was like a fake person in Canada, and they were kind of like sexting and all this type of things, and
Yeah.
everything was happening in Signal. And then until this person said, I'm gonna send you a check to your home. I want you to cash it, and I want you to keep the money for you because it's a token of appreciation,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, so this person received the thing in the on his mailbox. He cashed it, and like 3-4 days later, this romance, like this fake persona, asked for, can you wire me $10,000 because I'm in a hurry or whatever. And all this was fake. So this person was out of $10,000 just because of a romance scam. So all these things happen all the time. So these are the type of things that you need to be aware on social media. And I want you, Victor, to chip in more because I know there's
Yeah.
many more.
Yeah, I think that the scariest part about social media to me is how easy it is to collect someone's information. Not because the bad guys are out there trying to get it. That of course they're trying that, but how easy we make it, right? So like Sophia said, right? Sometimes they're out there just trying to get your information so they could try to leverage that attack or that information into another attack. And so sometimes this is a very simple example. Sometimes
Yeah.
all a bad guy needs to get access to your information is just a little bit of extra information about you so they can impersonate you when they call your bank, when they call, your cell phone provider, your car company, whatever, right? And sometimes that information is as simple as, here's my name, here's my address, and here's my date of birth. Well, guess what? If I have my birthday, if my birthday is today is October 8th, 2024. If I am turning 40 today and I post a picture of me on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, on whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, today's my birthday, and I'm turning 40, and I'm going to dinner with my wife. I'm giving you my date of birth. Like they're not even
Yeah.
trying to get it. I am just putting it out there. So I encourage everyone on social media to be aware that everything that you are sharing with your followers, if you have an open thing where it's not limited to who can follow you, you're sharing that with the world. And not everyone in the world is there to wish you a happy birthday. Some people are there to take your information. So be careful what you share. Be careful what your sharing permissions are. Be careful who
Yeah.
you follow and what you share with them. I have a friend who bought a new house and they were so excited, and they posted a picture of their house and it has the address right on the thing. And I thought, like, I get it. I'm so happy for you. You bought a house. That's a big accomplishment. Spent a lot of time and money getting to that point. But now
Yeah.
you've given everybody your address.
Yep.
And I'm your friend, so I'm not going to do anything with that information other than drive to your house and bring you a present. But if
Yeah.
you're a bad guy, now they have your address, and it's just a matter of time till you post your birthday. It's just a matter of time until you do this. It's just a matter of time until you reveal that, and then that information is out there. So again, my biggest piece of advice is be careful with what you share. Be careful who you share it with, and to Sophia's point, which is very good. Keep in mind that you might be a proxy for an attack on someone else, or someone else may be
Yeah.
a proxy for an attack on you. Maybe I want to attack Sophia, but she's really difficult. She's really smart. But Victor is, not so intelligent. So I'm going to attack Victor first, because now when I get access to Victor's email or his Instagram or whatever, I can now message Sophia, and Sophia's
Exactly.
going to think it's me, right? Because she doesn't know that it's not really coming from me. So because of my own weakness, I'm now creating a weakness for Sophia and an attack surface that she maybe didn't have before, or maybe wasn't expecting, or maybe wasn't prepared for. So
Exactly.
keep that in mind, and be smart. The smarter and safer you are, the smarter and safer everybody is.
Yeah, I was just about to say, when you said that it is so easy to do things on social media, not just like that, we can also spread. Like it's insane how fast and quickly it spreads, because I know for a fact that, see, I am somebody who uses Discord, right? And Steam gift cards. Here's a free Steam gift card. And everybody falls for that. And now a legitimate person who I know, like in real life, is DMing me that. So chances of me falling for it is much more higher. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, he's giving away a free Steam gift card. Not just that, like urgent messages, like urgent personal messages, like, hey, your friend had this boyfriend, and this boyfriend has done this thing online. You might want to go check it out. Like whispering messages, personal
Right.
messages, getting way too personal. It's really difficult to understand those. So we should be very aware, and we should not fall for this. All right. We at Cyber Material actually have a quick video, a cyber tip of sorts to protect us from phishing. Let's all take a look at it.
Welcome to Cyber Tips. Today, we're tackling phishing attempts. But first, what is phishing? It's a scam where attackers try to steal your sensitive information by pretending to be a trustworthy source. This phishing email may look urgent and ask you to click a suspicious link. Always check the sender's address. Phishing texts might ask you to verify your account. Be cautious of unexpected requests. Phishing websites often mimic real ones. Verify the URL before entering any information. To stay safe, verify the sender, be cautious of unusual requests, use multi-factor authentication, and report anything suspicious. Stay safe online. Follow us for more cyber tips.
All right, so that was just a quick video on cyber tips and multi-factor authentication and how to protect yourself, and especially on what they look like, what a phishing email might look like. They often mimic legitimate sources or websites, so be very careful of that. But like Victor mentioned, it will probably have some sort of spelling error or grammatical error. It always does have that, some character in the middle of it, right, Victor?
Absolutely. You'll notice that there's something that doesn't just quite look right.
Yeah. All right. So we have a question here. Is What about using authenticator apps? Are they more secure than mobile or email notifications?
Yeah.
That's a good
Yes.
question.
Go ahead, Sophia.
No. Please, Victor. You are the expert here.
No, I will tell you the same thing I tell everybody else. I love my authenticator apps. I think the authenticator apps, especially when we're talking about the ones that come from the bigger companies, they do a really good job of not only being secure themselves, but helping you with password management, helping you create stronger passwords. They help you with the login. Sometimes you'll get the one-time passcode where you have to log into your authenticator app and it'll say, type in ABC123 to log into this website. I think they help a lot. Email is
Yeah.
so easy to get into and so easy to duplicate. So I don't particularly love email for the same reason I don't love SMS, right? We already talked about
The
the
SIM
SIM
swap.
swapping.
Yep.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is just a different version of that. Authenticator adds an additional layer of protection.
So definitely go ahead and use authenticator apps. And like I said, research before using an authenticator app. Many
Yeah.
of them have data breaches. You can check that out in our Hall of Hack report, by the way. All right. We have one more question here. Okay, this is a big question. Is using the passkey generator from Apple or the password generator from Google a safe option for social media passwords? I'm always a little skeptical of that since they store that data and a data leak might expose my passwords.
Yeah, I mean, the passkey generator from Apple is a one-time code, which is like an OTP that they send
Yeah.
to your phone, or sometimes if you have a Mac, they send it to your Mac. But it's different from password, like from passwords per se, because even though the password may be stored or it might be exposed, it's very important to know that the one-time passkey, it's unique, and as the name says, is a one-time, so it usually
Yeah.
like doesn't get leaked, as opposed to passwords. So I don't know, Victor, if you want to elaborate a bit more here.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think the only thing that I would add to that is you're right. There is, for some of these websites or some of these authenticators or services, they store your passwords. And
Yeah.
that password that you use to log in to whatever program or service or app you're using should be incredibly strong. So we talk about passwords a lot, but the reality is that you probably want more like a passphrase, meaning that if your password right now, again, my password right now is Victor123. Maybe I'm using a passphrase, Victor loves German Shepherds and pizza 123 exclamation mark, whatever. Make that a lot more difficult, right? Because it's easier to guess a word than it is to guess a phrase. So
Yeah.
this is a vault that holds all
Yeah.
your information, protected as well as you can.
Yeah, and again, to go back to this question, the passkey generator or the password generator is just
Yeah.
a random numbers or letters that they are like scrambled together to create a password. It can be anything online. I mean, you can find any password generator. It's not because it's from Apple or Google is safer. It's just we do have like 26 letters, so they would just like scramble them. It doesn't matter which one you would use for this, but the way to use them and to be secure is to use a password manager, so you can keep track of them. Don't write them on a post-it like everybody put it on the computer or on
Yeah.
your desk. It's very important to remember that nothing has to be like analog, or because somebody can
Yeah.
take a picture of it or very quick. And it's mostly like storing it in the cloud. Store your password in the cloud is having it on a post-it, so it can be leaked. But because it's like stored somewhere.
Yeah.
But when you have a scramble, like you can get different combinations for password. Anybody, you can use anyone online. It's not like a specific like way of generating a password. And sometimes you also can be creative personally, like you can use some
Yeah.
ways to create passwords that you only remember. Of course, you may not be able to remember all of them. So to go back to what Victor said, not to reuse your passwords is very important to get a different set of options of different passwords out there.
You
Uh,
got it.
it's not because, like when you said, I'm always a little skeptical of what that since they stored the data. It's not that they're going to store the password that was generated and it's going to be associated with you. No, that is not.
Got it.
So they're going to give you a one-time password. You just save it. You use it for whatever you want. But it's not that they will know that they give it to you and they know that the
Exactly.
password is being used with this service.
And
You
just for like
can use anyone you want.
And just so like some sort of pace to your mind, what I do is suppose the passkey generator gave me something like um, tiny mouse house, right? Suppose it said that. I just add something in the end. Tiny mouse house love. I just add something of mine in the end, just to make it more unique. It's already unique, as Sophie
Yeah.
mentioned. It
Just
is
be
not.
aware of dictionary attacks. So whenever you use like altogether words like law
Yeah,
or I don't know, personal names or things like that, it's
yeah,
very important to remember dictionary attacks because that's what they do.
Right.
They combine words together until they
yeah,
crack your password. So if you use like I love my dog 101,
yeah, exactly.
well, it's not that secure because with dictionary attacks, they usually put thousands of words together and they brute force it until they get to them.
That's a new thing I learned today. But I think that you can definitely do the password generator thing and add your own word in the end because it's
Exactly.
unique to you. But
Yeah,
obviously, do not put something like love my dog 101.
exactly.
That
Yeah,
that's not good.
yeah.
Not good.
Or the name of your kid plus their date of birth.
Yeah,
Because
It's a very
as
common
Victor
one.
said, you are giving away that information. So you said, "Oh, I'm a new mom," and then you put the day of your kid was born, and then you have another post. You put your kid name, and you said, "Oh, celebrating first year," and things like that. They're gonna be able to pull these together. So even though it's not your personal information, you could be using your kid's date of birth, or your parents' date of birth, or your dog's date of birth, and don't do that. Even though they are easier to remember, but
okay. We actually have a few questions here on Slido. We're going to go over them very quickly. Are there specific security settings on features on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn that users often overlook?
Yeah, very quickly, multi-factor authentication. Wherever you have the option of turning that on through any
Yeah.
social media or any platform whatsoever, turn it on. Multi-factor authentication just makes it a little bit more difficult for someone to get in. And again, you just want to be as protected as possible.
yeah.
Definitely.
And actually, I wanna pat on this because I
Yes,
was
yes.
mentioning that we do have a lot of people reaching out to us with the issue of getting their Facebook account hacked, and there's more than 20,000 cases of people that they get their phone number like with the swim swap stolen and they get access to the account. So having the authenticator securing your Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media, it's very important because it's something that you have and it's an OTP. So it's a one time password that it goes randomly in your phone and it's not something that they will have access to if it as opposed to your SIM card number or your email address.
Got it. Um, and also, I feel like this is a good opportunity to mention that some platforms they use your data to train their AI, generative AI, like LinkedIn does. So opt out of it. If they made it very easy to opt out, just go to your data privacy, generative AI, opt out of it. Unless you're from the UK, you cannot. So just make sure that you do it manually. All right, we'll take one more question. And the question is: how can companies train employees to be more aware of social media security risks, especially when using social media for work purposes?
Great question. I think you talked about it earlier. That the company should
Yeah,
have this training in place as to how you log in, what you're posting, what you're sharing to. Just very, very basic tips. There are a ton of companies out there that provide this training, whether that's through a big company like Microsoft or schools like UNLV provides this training. There are a million different organizations that will provide that training for your group.
yeah,
And that's going to get you so much of the way there, right? Because you're only as strong as your weakest link. If everyone in the company is smart and they're doing the right things, but Victor isn't paying attention and I click on a phishing email, they're getting
yep.
in. So you want to make sure that you're doing that training across the board. I think that's the most important thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. Sophie, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I mean what Victor said is wonderful and I don't want to go over this because it's pretty straightforward.
It's
So
pretty straightforward, exactly. All right. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining. I think it's time to wrap everything up for today. Before you go, a reminder to join the Hack Havoc 2.0. We have amazing prizes. We have PJPT certification. We have Hack the Box vouchers and so much more. Thank you for joining us here live and staying with us till the end. This was a very fun and interactive session. Your questions are very insightful. We look forward to having you for our next Ask Me Anything Cyber. Thank you so much, Victor. It was great to have you here. Your questions, your answers to the questions, they were amazing. And obviously, Sophie, very insightful. I got to know a lot of new things today from you guys. And I'll definitely share this with my mom and dad because I feel like they will definitely fall for a phishing
Yeah.
scam.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
as part of cybersecurity, we are always educators here. So we need to get to educate people and to show them the good way and how they can protect themselves. That's the number one job for us.
Definitely. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining. All right. Make sure you follow Cyber Material for your daily cyber tea. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
What do you do when you get hacked? With law enforcement stretched thin, pursuing bigger targets. Your service provider's customer support bouncing you around like a ping pong ball. And your IT friend avoiding your calls. You might feel stranded. Don't panic. Your ultimate cybersecurity lifeline has just landed. Introducing 911 Cyber. A league of top-notch cybersecurity first responders. Backed by cutting-edge AI. Primed to lead you step-by-step through the labyrinth of cyber threats. Engage in real-time conversations with our cyberbot for instant solutions. Get proactive and take charge now of your digital safety. Visit 911cyber.app.